Welcome back to the Navy Sports Magazine. Time to put the spotlight on Navy men's soccer, getting ready to get their campaign coming up Thursday night. Started against George Mason over the Glen Warner Soccer Facility, joined by Connor Walcott. Connor, you guys had, multiple outings over a 9-day period to find out a little bit about yourselves. What did you guys find out over the multiple scrimmages that you guys had leading up to the start of the season on Thursday?
I'd say one of the big things we found out is we got a really, really deep roster. A lot of guys, a lot of playing time. A lot of starters had little nicks and injuries, so no need to play them. So we got some young guys getting major minutes and some of those little opening scrimmages, and found out that a lot of guys can play. So I feel like with a long season ahead of us, that there's not going to be any doubt that we got a lot of guys that can play and no issues in any positions.
Is that a good problem to have, and certainly to see that right away that young guys are ready to start right here at the beginning of the season? They're ready to go right away.
Yeah, no, for sure. I feel like that's like it's not even a problem to have. You got your starting lineup, and then you've got guys right below them that are pushing those guys starting, and then any minute anyone can step in and play. Someone goes down, some guy's not keeping up. One of the younger guys just steps in and fills the void, and there's no drop in level or play from anyone on the field.
When you have, obviously you're a guy that's been running around the midfield for a while here. When you have a deep roster like that, how much better does that make your training sessions? During the week leading up to games, because you're getting pushed in your training sessions as well.
Immensely better. You can easily replicate more of a game-like scenario with guys like that. With guys running around pushing each other, it's almost like you're playing a game in practice. Sometimes when you guys don't have a deep roster, people that can't keep up to the level, it makes it tougher. But this year, and definitely years past, like you've got guys pushing each other, and there's no drop off from practice to games.
You know, this program, I mean, you guys look, it really almost every game, especially when you get into the league, it's just a matter of scoring, one more goal. It almost seems like in a lot of games, to know you're that close to really trying to be able to achieve all those goals, beating Army, winning a championship, getting to the NCAA tournament. Is it good knowing that you guys are not that far away, but at the same time, how do you get over the frustration of knowing that you're this close and trying to push to get those results that are going to get you your goals?
No, I don't think there's an issue with that at all. You've got games that are not for the Patriot League, and so you got some of those games to work on that stuff. And honestly, you don't want to start off the season as super high, because eventually you start to drop off, and you kind of want to increase the level as the season goes on. And if you start off at a decent level and you keep increasing, then you only get better as the season goes on. You don't want to peak too early.
I mean, you've been around here a while. What's the key to surviving as a student athlete at the Naval Academy? Certainly a lot is expected of you in the hall, and a lot is expected of you on the pitch as well.
I'd say one big thing is finding out what works for you, finding what kind of schedule routine that works for you. Where do you want to go do your homework? Talking with your teachers is a big thing. We miss a lot of time for away games. We miss a lot of time even when we have home games. So just letting everyone know your schedule, know that you're going to miss time, and then being able to manage your time well and figure out what most important things you have to do. When you're on the field, focus on the field, put 100% there. When you're in the classroom, 100% there. Just take one thing at a time.
Leading by example in everything, whether it's training habits. Clearly, when the game kicks off, everybody wants to play hard, but training habits and even obviously, as you mentioned, things academically and obviously in the hall, setting that example for the younger players, because some of them are taking this in for the first time. It's the key to that, and obviously acclimating them, because you want them to be the best they can on the field, but if they're struggling in those other areas, as you know from being one of them before, it's the key to getting them acclimated as a more experienced player, obviously, in the program.
Just talking to them, giving them different ideas to try. Some people like to write stuff down. Some people don't like to write stuff down. For instance, I use my computer to write like my homework assignments down, but other people want like a schedule to write it down. So just like one thing that I've always learned is just throw out ideas to different people and find out what sticks for them. Not everyone's going to be the same, but just working with them to see what kind of routine, what kind of habits they make their life easier.
What gravitated you to soccer?
Man, I've been playing since I was 3 years old. I had a nanny that kind of, from the minute she was taking care of me when my mom was at work, would just put a ball at my feet, whatever, if it was a soccer ball or whatever else. I always had dogs, so tennis balls and whatnot. And from then on, it was always just kind of kicking it around the house, kicking it in the backyard, whatever, and never stopped.
Obviously here in America, we've been exposed to so much more soccer probably over the last 15 to 20 years, certainly the international part of it, where it certainly played at an incredibly high level. Did you develop any soccer, heroes, stars, people you liked, teams that you, gravitated to and enjoyed watching?
Always loved Tony Cruz. I mean, he just retired. Never was like a team fan, but since he'd gone to Real, like I'd support them. But like that was just for the sheer fact that he was on the team, you know. Had one or two of his jerseys growing up, but always just like his play, his simple, his passing, his movement was just super calm on the ball, and that was someone I always looked up to.
To say, I mean, it's amazing the amount of soccer we can consume now as a fan, whether it be any of the great international leagues that are going on. Obviously, MLS continues to grow. Looking around when you see guys that have been in that same uniform, and seeing a couple of them get a chance at the MLS level, at least. What does it say about the level of soccer, in your program? And as obviously you talk to recruits who may come visit the academy, when you try to sell them not only a great education, but hey, we've got a really good program that's allowed players to develop to that type of level.
Yeah, I mean, just like you said, like to that level, like we're just as good as any other team. We can compete with any other team. Like obviously, you've got the big teams that are always going to the tournament. They're always in the Final Four, but we can compete easily with any of them. You know, we've got Matt Nasita who went and he went off and played with Red Bull. So like we've got guys that can do that. We've got players that can do that. So it doesn't have to be some giant big name school. Like we're easily on the same level as all of them.
What's it like to walk out of that tunnel at Philadelphia for that game, that environment, that pitch? Because as we know, it's the greatest rivalry in sports, regardless of what sport we're playing.
Um, I mean, just the tunnel itself, it makes it feel like a real pro stadium. And then, just like you said, the rivalry, it doesn't matter if it's the big football game where everyone's watching and everyone's at the stadium. But like even when we're there, the stadium's packed. It brings that whole professional like feel to it. The whole you're an MLS player now almost, but you're playing against Army and everything else just goes right out the window.
Yeah, no doubt. It's kind of like our version of Man City and Man United. Kind of appreciate you taking a few minutes for us here today. Best of luck to you and your teammates as you guys get started on Thursday night against George Mason. Good luck this season.
Thank you. Appreciate it.